Good morning, my name is Alice Bryan.
My name is Brooke Ramlican.
My name is Grace Desario.
And my name is Sofia Trujillo.
What is birth control? Birth control is a way to control the menstrual cycle of a woman. Many women use it as a way to stop unplanned pregnancies. There are many types of birth control, including rings, patches, IUDs, once-a-day pills, condoms, and emergency contraceptives. The once-a-day pill and condoms are the most used type of birth control. Condoms have no side effects and no controversies that follow it. On the other hand, the once-a-day pill has many side effects and has lots of controversies with it.
Our research question is, how does birth control affect the users throughout their lives in the 21st century? And our response to that is, birth control or lack of concentration affects users include the side effects, religious values, minorities, and economic state of the world.
One of the side effects that follows birth control, specifically the once-a-day pill, is the depression and the mental illness that comes with it. Many times when a woman or a teenager starts going on birth control for the first time, they experience severe depression for the first time in their lives. As you can see here in this chart, ages 16 to around 20, they have a much higher depression symptoms than the non-users of birth control. Depression can lead to lasting effects in their lives, including self-harm, other mental illnesses that can come and stem from depression, and suicide. Another detrimental factor that can come from birth control is the nutritional deficiencies. Here is a list of 13 different nutritional deficiencies that can come from taking birth control. Vitamin B6, for example, can cause you to have inflammation, anemia, impaired glucose intolerance, depression, memory loss, and confusion. All of these symptoms can impact the life quality of a person and have long effects.
In the United States, many minorities don't receive health care. There's various different reasons why they don't, but most of them don't believe that they will receive as fair treatment as others within the clinic. This leads minorities to use emergency contraceptives as a substitution for the once-a-day pill. There's many different types of research that shows that when continuous use of emergency contraceptives can lead to physical harm to their bodies. As we can see here in this graph, the unintended pregnancies among African Americans were 63%, 48% among Hispanics, and only 42% among Caucasians. It's also extremely noticeable that it was only 17% of those unintended pregnancies among Caucasians ended in birth, while it was about 30% for all other races. Another group that has an extremely difficult time obtaining birth control is minors. This is a direct quote from Harvard Law. Parent consent was required at a common law as a substitution for a child's consent. A physician treating a minor without parental consent faced the risk of liability. This goes on to show that no licensed physician would put their years of training at risk to help one child. It's all at the parent's consent and only the parent's decision. But when a teenager does not receive birth control, it leads to them becoming pregnant, and it leads to affecting their education status. As we can see here on this chart, 63% of pregnant teens did not get a high school diploma or an equivalent education. When a woman does not receive the education that every American deserves, it goes on to affect her entire life. When a woman does not receive a high school diploma, it's harder for her to obtain a sustainable lifestyle for her and her child. So this continues the question, why are we allowing children to have children?
From a religious perspective, Catholicism and Christianity have caused negative change with small amounts of progression in women's rights to birth control. From a Christian perspective, women can be denied the right to birth control in certain states. Zulaki Jumorali wrote Pharmacists vs. Bill and discusses in states such as Arkansas and Georgia, a pharmacist may simply say, God disapproves of the contraceptive, and be denied the right to birth control. Catholics have coinciding viewpoints, however neither spoke upon the hormonal balance and health benefits that can be experienced alongside being a preventative to pregnancy, which is their main reasonings for objecting the pill. Hinduism and Islam have prompted influence on women's actions, rights and thoughts upon taking birth control. A study conducted in a small Indian town called Rumalagan discusses Hindus and Muslims whether they are permitted to take birth control pills or not.
In a study done across Lebanon with 440 females, 76.4% declared that they couldn't find the preferred birth control method brand. 48% were affected by the increased prices, and 28.3% declared stock billing. Because of this, 55.3%, which is more than half of the participants, had to adapt to alternative birth control method brands. As we can see in this chart, the birth control rates have decreased by 19% since 2007. Birth rates are much higher among the low-income women than other income groups. Since birth rates of pregnancy have dropped more than 22% from 8% in 2014 to 6.2% in 2018. In the middle income group, it has dropped from 6.4% to 5.8%, and lastly, from 5.6% to 5.5% in the low income groups.
In conclusion, with all of our research, we found that the lack of birth control or birth control can have serious mental and physical problems with the users. This is among people of different minorities, age, and people of different religious backgrounds, and the economical and political state of the world has a huge impact on the way people can access birth control. It's very apparent that women do not fully understand, like Grace said, the side effects that birth control can cause and all the vitamin deficiencies that birth control can cause, and it's very obvious that women need to be more educated on how they can access birth control and what birth control really can do for them and how it hurts them and how it helps them.
This is our work cited. Thank you.
Guys, just slide together if you would for me. We'll start this way and work our way across, Jenny. Grace, reflecting on your colleagues' work, which one had the greatest impact on your understanding of the problem? Oh, sorry.
I would say Brooks, because I think the ability to see just how much the lack of accessibility to teens can affect their lives can really give you a total understanding of how serious the issue is with the accessibility of birth control.
Okay. Alice, what is an example of a compelling argument from one of your peers' reports you decided not to use, and then why didn't you use it?
We decided not to use Sophia's political discussion as much, as there wasn't a proper connection to everyone else's arguments.
All right. Brooke, what is a way in which your team's resolution makes you think differently about the research you did?
Well, I believe that our resolution really impacted the way I did my research and the way I still think about my research is because I really focused on the accessibility, and like Grace in her research, she explained how it affects the users and stayed kind of neutral during her research, and each person had their own perspective, so it really helped me mold my own.
All right, and save the best for last, right? Describe an argument from one of your peers' IRRs that makes you think differently about the solution that you guys came up with together.
So I think Grace's or Alice really impacted, because Alice mostly speaks about the religions and how religion can really affect if a person wants to use birth control or not, and it really depends on what they believe.
Don't go anywhere. You guys